We cannot continue with business as usual, and change is inevitable. This is where technology, like digital ID, becomes critical.
The UK establishment, Tony Blair, the College of Policing and their friends in the media have been quietly plotting to turn this country into a digital hellscape, a tech-powered dragnet dressed up as a reform for the digital age. Hi, I'm Patrick Christys and this is GBN Originals. Now this week, The Times hosted its Crime and Justice Summit, headlined by Axon, a surveillance company with a keen interest in selling its wares to the state. The summit wasn't just a talking shop, it was the grand unveiling of a report from The Times' Crime and Justice Commission, a year-long inquiry into the future of policing and justice in Britain. And what did they recommend? Mandatory universal digital ID for every single citizen, online age verification, a single unique identifier from birth, sounds a bit sinister, doesn't it? And of course, a massive expansion of live facial recognition, AI and data analytics in policing. Now, let's be clear, this isn't just about catching criminals. The report wants to ban under-16s from social media, enforced through this digital ID system. It wants every interaction with the justice system to go into a single digital case file. It wants facial recognition cameras rolled out across the UK, not just in a handful of places, but everywhere. Train stations, events, public spaces. And who's at the front of this charge? Well, step forward, Mr. Unflushable. It's Tony Blair. The man who, lest we forget, tried to foist ID cards on nearly all of us 20 years ago, only to be met with massive public outrage. Well, he's back, and this time he's got AI on his side. Blair says that digital ID is a necessity. He wants it to be mandatory. He wants facial recognition in busy places like train stations and events, and he wants AI used for spotting crime patterns, guiding patrols, and streamlining decisions. Blair's argument? Well, he claims that digital ID will bring order to illegal immigration, stop benefit fraud, and get this, help fight populism. Well, I mean, gosh, we couldn't possibly have populism, could we? According to Blair, the grievance would be on immigration, and that thing is out of control. Well, his solution? Don't fix the border. No, don't just deport people at source or anything like that. No. Tag every single one of us from birth with a digital identifier. He even admits that British people will sacrifice privacy for efficiency. That's the trade-off he wants us to accept. Less freedom, more government control, all in the name of national security and safety. And hey, this will save you money because people will stop coining it in fraudulently off the benefit system. It's good for you. All of this is very good for you. And he's convinced that if you dangle the carrot of convenience, people will go along with it. Well, Blair isn't alone. The Justice Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, says some of these recommendations will become law. The Home Office is bang on board. Baroness Longfield, Claire Waxman, the College of Policing, they're all lining up behind this vision of a Britain where you can't move, you can't speak, and you can't live your life without being tracked, scanned, and analysed by the state. I mean, can you just imagine how wrong this could go? Just think about every single aspect of it. Can you imagine if we ever elected a rogue government here in this country? The power that they would immediately have at their fingertips. Can you imagine how much this could corrupt even someone who means well in power? Even something really minor, okay? Let's imagine that you are a smoker, okay? And you decide that you want to go outside for a cigarette and they've banned smoking somewhere in your local park. Now, you're not even allowed to smoke outdoors for your public health, for everyone's health. You can't even smoke outdoors anymore. The year's 2050. And you get into the park and you just light up a cheeky Marlboro light. And all of a sudden there's a facial recognition camera everywhere and you get a ticket in the post for a £100 fine. Now, I know that might be a bit of a crude example, but seriously, that is where we're heading with this stuff, isn't it? Where every single thing you do is monitored and then you are fined for breaking the rules. Even the new government under Sir Keir Starmer is rushing to embrace all of this technology. Starmer wants to make the UK an AI superpower. Ministers are launching a digital wallet app to store your driving licence and other IDs on your phone. And the Science Secretary says nothing is off the table. Just say that again. nothing is off the table when it comes to what digital documents could be stored and shared with the state.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Let's pause for a moment and ask, where does this end? Because this isn't just about catching criminals. This is about creating a system where your every single movement is logged, your face is scanned in real time, your data is hoovered up by algorithms, your identity is reduced to a string of ones and zeros in a government database. Civil liberties groups like Big Brother Watch have called this an obsession with an Orwellian AI-powered surveillance system that reeks of authoritarianism and would be a hammer blow to our civil liberties. Well, and they're absolutely right, aren't they? This isn't reform, this isn't improvement, this is the revolution in state power, and not the good kind. It is so widely open to abuse and corruption. And we have had experience of this quite recently. How drunk on power did people get during the coronavirus pandemic? Can you imagine that on steroids now? Let's not forget the UK already has one of the most intrusive surveillance regimes in the world, in the democratic world. We're talking about a country where police have trialled live facial recognition in London and Wales, leading to hundreds of arrests, but also to misidentifications, legal challenges, innocent people's images being stored in national databases. Do we trust that they just get rid of all your images? Do we? Really? There's no single dedicated law specifically for facial recognition. Oversight relies on a patchwork of data protection, equality and human rights laws, plus operational guidance. Calls for a unified legal framework are ongoing. It's not just about privacy. There are serious questions about the accuracy and bias of these systems. Human rights groups warn that facial recognition technology is prone to errors. Actually, as it turns out as well, it can often struggle to clearly identify differences between people from ethnic minority backgrounds. So this is one area where people say like, oh, this is racist, this is racist. Actually, I'm not saying the computers are racist. What I am saying is genuinely, apparently they really do struggle sometimes to differentiate between black people and people with darker coloured skin. So there is that, and that is a problem in this case. There's no explicit legal basis for police use of this tech, and it's never been properly debated by our elected representatives. And again, I'll just say this. It will always be easier for politicians or police or whoever to apologise in the aftermath of misusing all of this data. It will always be easier for them to apologise for trampling over your human rights and in 10 years' time, or 20 years' time, say, oh, look, I'm sorry that we did that. We shouldn't have done that. That was wrong. But in the meantime, your life's ruined. And this is the way it goes. The risk isn't just that the state will use this power responsibly. No, the risk is that it will be abused by officials, by hackers, by anyone with access to the data. We've already seen cases where companies like Clearview AI have hoarded billions of photos from the internet, making them available to the highest bidder. The Information Commissioner has to step in and order them to delete all UK images, but, can we really trust that that's being enforced? Anyone who works in that line of work clearly knows how to hide things, don't they? And what about fraud? A recent survey found that a third of Brits already store photos or scans of their ID documents on their phones, rising to nearly half among young people. So 1 in 5 have scans of their family or their friends' IDs, and more than 1 in 7 of them have been victims of fraud in the last month. What's the government's answer? Well, just digitise even more of our identity documents and link them all to a central system. And what about the elderly? Now, there's a lot of old people out there who are incredibly technologically savvy, and I'm not trying to disrespect or paint all old people as being technologically illiterate or anything like that. I am not. However, there are plenty of people who are in their 70s or their 80s or even their 90s who did not grow up with technology and who would really struggle to even send or receive a text message, let alone deal with all of this digital ID nonsense. That's going to be a problem, isn't it, going forward? Do we just exclude the elderly from our society? The establishment keeps telling us that all of this is for our own good, and I'm sick of hearing that. I'm sick of hearing what's for my own good when I know it isn't. They say that it will make the state more efficient, it will save money, it will help us access services more easily. But let's just be honest about this. It's about control. It's about creating a society where dissent is harder, where anonymity is impossible, and where the line between citizen and suspect is erased. They've looked at China and they've said, I want a bit of that. Because once you've handed over your face, your fingerprints, your digital identity to the state, probably your DNA as well, why not lob a bit of DNA in? You don't get them back, do you? Once the cameras are up, once the algorithms are running, once the databases are built, the temptation for mission creep is overwhelming. Today it's crime, tomorrow it's protests, the day after, look, who knows? Who knows? Having the wrong thoughts, maybe. And where's the accountability? Where is the oversight? The UK has signed up to international treaties on AI and human rights, but back home, the government is just pressing ahead with more surveillance, more data collection, more power for the state. The Biometrics Commissioner warns that police are still storing images of innocent people. So there you go. That answers one of our earlier questions, doesn't it? Police are still storing images of innocent people. Communities are sceptical, legal challenges are mounting, but the juggernaut still rolls on. The establishment may well think that it can sell us this digital dragnet as progress. But the choice is clear. Do we want to live in a country where the state knows absolutely every single thing about you? Or do we want to remain a free people with the right to privacy, the right to dissent, to live our lives without being watched, tracked, and analysed by machines? I'm Patrick Christys. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the GB News YouTube channel for more.